Hi, Rebecca here. Happy Friday. We're embarking upon 4th of July weekend. What an amazing time this weekend to celebrate the beauty and the freedom of our country, and just we live in a great country that really is just cannot be matched by anybody else. And as you celebrate your 4th of July with your loved ones and family, let's all be mindful and prayerful for still so many people hurting in America today. And it's fitting for the topic that we're dealing with today. This is week 3 of 5 weeks of my series called Pain on Purpose. Not on purpose, but literally with a purpose. And we've been talking about this topic of pain and grappling with and navigating and dealing with pain in our life. If you missed the first 2 weeks, you can watch them on my website at RebeccaContreras.com. There are some great resources there for you to be able to leverage and tool from that website. And today we're going to be talking about week 3 is centered on give it time, but don't wallow. So, pain really deeply reveals us as individuals. Many people, we really don't know what we're capable of until we're dealt with a deck of pain. Pain that can be physical, can be emotional, can be spiritual, can be mental, just in so many facets of our life, whether it's physical tragedy or emotional tragedy. Pain is the platform that exists that really allows us to express ourselves and sometimes forces us to deal with issues that we wouldn't otherwise deal with. And when that pain comes, sometimes it can be a sucker punch that is so difficult to overcome. And so I've been talking about this series from experience. We've all dealt with pain. I've personally dealt with pain, and I want to talk today about, and tying it all together, how it's important for us to certainly give it time to heal, but don't wallow in your pain. So there are 2 critical decisions that we have to make when we experience pain. Really only 2. It comes down to the bottom 2. And that is, we have to determine what we're going to do in the midst of that situation, in the midst of the pain, but also we have to determine, while we're navigating through it, what to do with that pain. So knowing what to do with your pain and how you're navigating it to move forward in life is super important to living your best life. And first, there's a saying that says time heals all things, and we certainly know that that is true. Time is the true healer of pain, because as time goes on, we learn to deal, we learn to navigate, we learn to let things go. But time is promised to no one. And my philosophy in life is short. So don't allow that pain that you're going through, certainly give it time, but don't wallow in it, allow it to drag out for months and months and years where you just lose so much time. Life is but a vapor. It is here today and gone tomorrow. So it's so important for us to learn how to heal from our pain. In one of her articles, Joyce Meyer, one of my favorite public speakers, chronicled how she was sexually abused, mentally abused, and verbally abused by her father, her biological father. Before she was 18, from the time of like 5 years old, she was sexually abused 200 times by her dad. And in her book, she outlines the anguish and the pain and the unbearable scars that were left, and how it affected her self-esteem. But it's amazing how this woman who grew up with such intense pain is now one of the top motivational speakers and Bible teachers in America, Joyce Meyer, and the self-esteem just emanates from her. How she, in her book, she wrote how she navigated and just walked in confidence and forgiveness, and how she dealt with that pain and overcoming her fear, and really how she forgave her father. So if you're dealing with sexual abuse or emotional abuse or just intense pain in your life, I encourage you to read Joyce Meyer's book. It really puts things in perspective in our life. So there are 3 steps that I'd like to share with you today on how we should ensure that we give it time, but we don't wallow, which is today's topic. First and foremost, don't let confusion in that pain cloud your clarity of purpose. Do not allow clouding of your clarity of purpose and the purpose that it can serve in your life and in your walk and in your navigation through that. When you're sucker punched in life, and I've been sucker punched in life, I'm navigating a painful issue right now that I was sucker punched with. You can choose to focus on that sucker punch and wallow in it, or you can, just deal with it and heal from it. And when things are unexpected and you have no control over the pain that comes in your life, whether it's, again, tragedy or loss, or it's caused by someone that you love, it's so important to ensure that your clouding and your confusion in your mind doesn't allow you to lose that clarity of purpose, and that you pray and ask God to help you navigate it and help you find what is the purpose for all this. There is a great article that I recommend. It's such a good read. It was published by The Guardian in 2019, and it's called "Until You See Your Purpose in Your Pain, It Will Remain Unbearable." In this article, it outlines the survivor of a Holocaust, 3 Holocaust camps. His name was Mr. Frankel, and how he lived through the horrific events of 3 Holocaust camps, and he saw around him people dying left and right, but he survived. And in that article, he talks about the difference and how he saw his clarity of purpose versus others, and how it was his survival, and how he walked out of there and was able to have life after that pain. I would really encourage you, because in the article, it really talks about specific tools on how to navigate intense pain. We know in Romans 8:28, the Bible says, "For we know that all things work together for the good of those that love God." And so, again, don't lose confusion and clouding of your purpose, but keep your mind clear so that you have purpose through that. Number 2, recognize it's going to pass. Reality is all things pass. Things come, things go. It's going to pass. And knowing, sometimes you don't know which way is up, right? You're like, oh my God, which way is up on this situation? But know that it's going to pass. There's purpose in your heart to release it and let it go, and find ways to release your pain. Don't hold on to it. Last week, I talked about some practical steps, and I gave very practical steps of what to do in that healing process when you've made a decision that you're not going to, stick and stay in that place of darkness. Please watch my video for last week, where I give 3 practical steps of how you can walk through that healing process. Number 3, find your joy and happiness again in your pain. Helen Keller said it best in her book. There is depth of joy that comes from mastering and overcoming your pain. Helen Keller is an amazing woman who overcame so much in her life. And, she talks about looking for the little things in life in the midst of that journey that find you joy, and focus on that. Focus on the things that are working in your life, and the good things that are happening, and the things that are working to your favor and not against you. And if you have a bad day and you get in that wallow mode again, remember that tomorrow is always a new day, and you can always start over tomorrow and finding your joy and happiness again. Psalms tells us that joy comes in the morning. Let your joy return. What do I do when I am in pain and I feel like I just want to wallow in it? I remember that there's joy in my life. One of my favorite things to do is listen to Joel Osteen, America's pastor. Joel's messages and podcasts are so encouraging, because they lift me up and they remind me that God has me and that He has my purpose. And it reminds me that I also need to find my joy again. So Tony Robbins, in his teachings. He's one of the greatest motivational speakers in America. I love listening to Tony Robbins. He has 9 steps to find joy in the midst of pain. If you Google his pieces and the 9 steps to finding joy, one of those things that he talks about in his 9 steps that I actually have started practicing in my own life and journaling, he said, practice daily gratitude. Daily gratitude, even in the midst of your pain, is such a powerful thing to ensuring that we don't wallow in it and that we write down those things that we are grateful for, even in the midst of dealing with our pain. So hopefully this has been helpful to you. Again, there are 3 steps that I think are super powerful in giving it time, but not wallowing in our pain around today's subject. Again, don't let confusion cloud clarity of your purpose in that situation. Number 2, recognize it's gonna pass. And number 3, find your joy again. And look for those things that you know are gonna make you smile. One of the things that I focus on that brings me great joy is my grandkids. I love my grandkids. And when I look at my little Bella or my little Judah, or I look at little Arion's face, I just light up. They just bring me joy because they're my children, my grandchildren. And David and I love spending time with our grandkids, and it just brings us so much joy. And even when we're navigating tough issues, when we see their little faces, we remember that life is going to be just fine. So find those places of joy in your life, and remember to ask God to help you navigate pain. We need to give it time, but I have found in my own journey that asking God to just remove that pain and grief, or allow me to navigate it in a way that's not going to let me become embittered or become toxic or become hurtful or hateful. And I embrace those steps in my own life. They are so powerful to dealing with this issue of pain on purpose. So I hope you're enjoying this series. Again, if you missed week 1 and week 2, they are on my website. You can watch them. It's just 15 minutes, super short. But I want to encourage all of us to just share it out. And also, if you know people in your life, as I do, that are navigating pain, encourage them and help them along. We're all meant to walk this journey together. No one is meant to deal with pain alone. Dealing with pain alone can be very difficult and very harmful to living your best life, and you won't be able to live your best life if we try to navigate this issue of pain on our own. We're going to be skipping next Friday. I'm actually going to be in downtown Austin celebrating my oldest daughter, Crystaline's birthday on Friday. We'll be doing the pool thing, and we're celebrating her. So I am going to be skipping next Friday, but we will pick right back up on July 15th for our next Pain on Purpose series, which is called Embrace the Change Through the Pain. There is positive change that comes out of pain, and we need to be in a posture of embracing the positive change that can come out of the pain. And so enjoy your 4th of July weekend with your loved ones. If you enjoyed this series, Pain on Purpose, share it out. The more they hear it, the better. And be safe, and God bless. Happy Friday, everyone.